Welcome, everyone, to Wolves After Dark. The Timberwolves win. We all knew it was going to happen, no doubt, at any point in the game, honestly. But the Timberwolves do win, force a Game 5. If you're new here, like the stream, subscribe. We do this after every game. And we haven't had a win in a while, so you haven't seen smiles on our faces until today. But the Timberwolves do win. And go back to Denver. We'll see what happens. Maybe it ends up being a gentleman's sweep or whatever they call it. But this win feels good. Losing 0-4 would have sucked, regardless of the fact that we were missing Jaden and Naz, who are huge pieces to our team, regardless of what Denver fans want to think or NBA fans want to think. So it is a big deal that we at least won one game, and it gives you an opportunity to win some more, which would be awesome. But how are you feeling after the game, Ashwin?
Pretty hype. I've had a couple energy drinks, and I'm downing some more caffeine because that first half was a snoozer.
Yeah,
I had to wake up from. But wow, that had a lot of drama, a lot of storylines, a laceration to the eye.
Oh yeah,
and the unsung heroes. The D'Lo trade is paying dividends.
It is.
Like almost all of our overtime points outside of Ant was the result of the D'Lo trade.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling pretty high. Cloud like 2.5 out of 9, but that's the highest we've been in a while. That's elevation right there. Feeling good, dude. Denver wanted to lose this game from like minute one. They played so bad, and there was like a recipe for a Timberwolves team to win this game. Mm-hmm. And maybe we've kind of uncovered it, but Denver was missing wide open shot after wide open shot. No one was getting going for them, and it was really just the Jokic show versus Cat and the others, and like kind of like splintering of Ant in the early goings, but then he wasn't to be found until early in the second half. It was very wild. Like the pace was off, just no energy in the building. Anytime we went on like a 4-0 run, Denver was quick to just like snipe it.
Yep.
And man, it was interesting. They really, gentleman's sweep is correct. Like that's maybe what they were thinking. Let's go back home. Let's get some more revenue in the building and Ball Arena. Wave our balls high in the air and await the Suns, right? But I found a lot of solace, a lot of like content with our like drive to win and Ant's emotion and the others coming in clutch when Cat like commonly falls out now. It's not like a uncommon thing anymore. It's just like it just happens every game.
Exactly. We just expect it now.
We expect it now.
We're not even disappointed when it happens. We're like, oh, this is just this time of the day. Like,
and it's not even adversity. It's just it's like, oh, it's time for him to take a poop. Like time for him to put his hands like a rookie would, like a sixth grader would, on defenders. It was cool to see through the adversity of no slow-mo, who really got us going on that like run in the third quarter. No slow-mo, no Cat, no Jaden, no Nas. We got to say it. Yeah. It's so meaningful, so impactful in the series. We pulled through. Dude, Na had 8 points in the total in total in the game, and 2 of them were corner threes in overtime.
Yeah, like huge buckets. Like those 8 points or those 6 points were worth 20. I mean, realistically, like, if we don't hit those shots, that's a big problem because Denver started making shots. Like you said at the beginning of the game, they just didn't care, And they even said as much at the halftime show for TNT. They were like, yeah, like Denver just doesn't care right now. They're pretending like this is a scrimmage. And the Timberwolves should care, but they're like their backs are against the wall, but we're not really feeling that. That's what they were basically saying at halftime.
Yeah.
And, honestly, even coming out in the third quarter, it wasn't like that great, but the Timberwolves did turn it on in the fourth. But unfortunately, so did the Nuggets. And then, that's when they started to really like.
That was the last 2 minutes. We went on a 12. We went on to a 20-point lead. They took a timeout. Dude, we were pretty happy. We were pretty content. And that is kind of classic Timberwolves, man. Like you knew it was going to happen.
Yep, exactly.
I thought it was just going to be Murray popping off.
Yeah, well, I knew some kind of a run was going to happen. I honestly was not expecting them to come all the way back and forth overtime. I was thinking, like, you know what, they're going to make
For
it
real.
close, maybe within like 3 points or something like that, and then we'll hit like one stupid basket that's not like a super momentum thing, but enough to like keep us in the lead.
Yeah.
But we just at no point could control them in the last 3 minutes. And then Ant has a terrible last possession.
Oh well.
And then Bruce Brown almost hits a 3.5 court buzzer beater, which would have been, I
All-time
mean,
classic.
that would have been the most insane moment I think we've ever witnessed. That would have topped maybe the Kings game that we witnessed together when we dropped it by 30 or whatever.
Whoa. Rare hair sighting from Cameron. Whoa.
Only on
One
wins.
show.
Only on wins.
Let's go to Twitter, but also let's go to the chat too. Like, dude, this was quite a win. So thankful for all of you guys to show up. Esco the Cool, the name, the gnome. That's new. Hey, I made a post in the post game thread on Reddit. Whoa, look at that. We'll talk about that in a second.
Wait, the gnome. You're a mod.
He's a mod. He's a mod.
The gnome, by the way, I'm a mod. Just don't pretend like I actually do something.
And then Solidus even talking about Discord, yes or no. I don't even know what he's talking about. Let me chop it up with you.
Solidus, you can join the Discord. You can talk to us in the Discord. That's fine.
Yeah, we would love that.
Yeah.
And maybe he's wanting us to do something live with him, but or them, but just do it here. That'd be cool. That'd be better.
Yep.
And we're probably not even prepared for anything live. But so also Patrick Beverly, before we go to anything here, Patrick Beverly was quoted in his live fourth quarter and overtime post-game show that was happening during the show.
Yeah.
As Ant is him. Ant is like Michael Jordan. Ant has the tools to be like Mike.
That's amazing.
Feels fucking good to be a Midwestern mediocre franchise that has the miracles in the Metrodome and in a US Bank Arena, but nothing else, right? Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Oh, we're a Timberwolves show. Sorry. Let's go to Twitter.
Yes. And Ant just with 34 points tonight. You know, he passes Kobe Bryant for the second most by players with age 21 or younger, and he's 21. Only LeBron James has more. So,
wow. Yeah, dude, back-to-back 30-point game.
It's crazy. It is crazy.
Wow.
And, you know, he didn't have great efficiency tonight. He did start the game off immediately with a 3, but then after that, it was just like a little bit of, I mean, that was just the first half. The first half for everyone sucked.
Oh, it was wild. Yeah.
But
he was like kind of relegated to like being a non-factor. The way that like Finch was even like coaching up our players or lack thereof, it was just like these really odd double screens that did nothing but waste time.
Mm-hmm.
Every position was just like wasting time. Hands in the corner, rarely getting open, you know? Yeah, some really strange plays by the Timberwolves, but honestly, like there's a couple plays that were miraculous, right? Like just like Mike Conley, like fadeaway bank 3 from the corner.
That honestly is the shot of the game, even though it was not intentional. Like if that doesn't go in, that felt like a momentum point where it was like, oh, Denver's just going to come back and do whatever they do.
Yep.
And it was just a miracle. And then I thought when Nah shot his 3 from the corner, it also hit. I don't think it did, but it looked like it kind of did hit backboard for a second. I'm like, oh my gosh, the basketball gods are looking over the Timberwolves.
Dude, we believe in Jesus. And then did you hear the chants in Target Center in TC?
Yeah, Wolves in 7.
Do you believe? Do you believe in a thing called Ant?
I don't believe. But honestly, the only person that does make me believe is Ant. And, you know, listening to his post-game conference or post-game, not conference, the interview that they did on the court.
Yeah.
That was just really cool, you know, seeing him. And I'm like, man, he's 21. He's just like acting so mature. And I know we've said these things about other players in the past, like Towns. We've said that about even Wiggins, you know. But like nobody's really been able to put it all together like Ant has. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just really seeing it is just so exciting because you know that it's just the beginning of what he can do for us. And like he's the one that wins us this game. Like you heard him in the background of like the loss after the game 3. In the locker room, he's like telling everybody, not on camera. This is not for the cameras. He's just
Right,
telling
totally.
people like in conversation, like we're gonna win game 4. We're coming back. And then in this other interview just after the game, he's like, "Yeah, I'll see you. We'll see you in Denver. We're coming back." And it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
man, that's cool. Yeah, and Esco. So Esco says, y'all see how focused Anthony Edwards was. He ran right off the court. Right after the game, he
Right.
just ran to
They
the
wanted to
tunnel, and
interview him.
they stopped
Yeah.
him to they were like, "You got to go back out and interview. You're on TNT." But he was just like, he ran immediately. He wasn't like hyping up the crowd. He was like getting ready. And I just love that mindset. So I don't know.
Yeah, cool.
I'm just guessing about Anthony Edwards at this point, but like it's what we have.
Yeah, cheeks are red, and it's not the cheeks you're thinking of. 48 points after the first quarter, or after the halftime, and we come out like kind of lacking in energy. Like, what happened? Halftime adjustments, where are they? Like, where's the desire to win, force game 5? Like win this series. Like where is that desperation? Cat goes out with kind of foul trouble, but also like his kind of like classic time to be pulled for Kyle Anderson. We go on a 22
Yes.
7 run
Mm-hmm.
with Gobert, Slow Mo, and Ant. And that was the turning point, I thought. Like, we had no gas. We had no momentum. We were losing the game. Man, that was sweet. That was sweet to see Ant take over the hierarchy.
Yes.
The pecking order is defined.
Exactly. It's the pecking order. It just makes sense.
It makes sense.
And you could maybe make the argument, I know obviously if you guys have watched us, we're relatively I don't want to say anti-Towns, but we're very pro Anthony Edwards. And
more matter of fact.
Yeah. And like, if it was just Towns or just Ant, I think the offense could work a little bit better. But we have both of them, and they're both kind of designed and mentally a one on the team. So like when you have both of them out there, that's what happens. I mean, think of the stretch of the 3 minutes of the last quarter or the fourth quarter. Both of them are out there, and it's just a struggle fest of people just like standing at the top of the key, looking around for movement, and there's no movement. And you could blame Anthony Edwards ISO because he does rely on that way too heavily, and he's not good enough to beat people just yet. And maybe he won't be. I don't know, but like Towns can't beat anybody for sure. He has to shoot it, and it's just going to be a jab step maybe, and then just pull up for 3. So it's just like awkward, and you need to have one of two, and that's what you're saying. I mean, Ant, Gobert, and Slow Mo really gave us life at that point. I mean, look at the plus minuses for tonight, and that tells a story.
Absolutely. The box score will tell you a lot tonight, because what wasn't present was a box like a score at all from the rest of our team. Like it was 2 players in game 3. It was like a player and a half in game 2. It was like, we could build off of what we saw, the sparks of an offense in game 2. We saw a quarter and a half of something to build off of in game 3. And that we kind of saw like another like half, version of our team could look like. We go small, we look better. Holy crap, Tim Connolly, why did you double down on bigs when we look so much better small? It's hilarious. But you gotta, sometimes shoot your shot with these kind of moves, right? And Gobert, man, I gotta tell you, he's doing a lot for us. And it's really hard. It's really hard to kind of like quantify stat-wise, quantify like the types of plays that Denver can't get running because of Gobert. And what we didn't see at all in this game, maybe one time, was a backdoor cut.
Yeah.
We never saw that.
Yep.
Something happened. Something switched in our schemes. Something happened with lack of energy, or like something happened where like we were pressing on Denver. A lot of that's because Jokic was being dared to shoot, like being dared to like make the play for himself.
And he was he was a lot of the time.
Oh yeah, it was crazy, right? Like, why are we leaving him open for 3?
I just kept laughing though, because like I'm like, you kind of want him taking 3s, and he's just chucking them and making them.
Dude, I remember that.
It's great.
3 for 5. 3 for 5 after like 2 or 3. I think he went and continued to make more, but like, I just remember like Cat didn't shoot a 3 at all game.
Really?
best shooting big of all time. No threes, right?
Well, he didn't make one. He took 2 apparently. I don't remember them, but
I don't remember them either. Sorry. I mean, I'm kind of like glancing / embellishing stats here, but like, yeah, I'll check out stats in a minute. But like, I just remember at one point it was 0-0 to 3-5, right? Like,
yeah,
who's the greatest big man of all time, shooting big man of all time? I just was like so funny. But like the on ball pressure, the drive to restrain and contain Murray from popping off at all was maybe the biggest key to this game. Murray has killed us, slayed us, put us on, you know, top shelf, all series. He didn't get any. He looked like a fraction of himself tonight.
Yeah, it's you kind of made an interesting point. This whole series, like when we watched the Memphis series last year, we had many times, like every game, it felt like we made a major adjustment. And even if Memphis still beat us, like they beat us in a different way. I guess all of them were coming back from being down like 15. But like strategy wise, like there were certain games where we were like really up on Morant, and then there were certain games where we were like, okay, we're really going to deny Desmond Bane the ball, or like we're really going to focus on the bigs, or taking advantage of Steven Adams, whatever that may look like, But this series, it really felt like the first 3 games, like no adjustments were made. We just, in that second game, played a little bit better offensively and like had a little bit more pep in our step. But like other than that, we had nothing. And tonight it felt like there was some adjustments. The backdoor cuts weren't there, like you said. And it's just like you could maybe argue that Denver just wasn't in it as much tonight until like 3 minutes to go. But still, like we were making adjustments. We were letting Jokic shoot, and he was making them, but still like less. Like we weren't having the same Michael Porter Jr. issues. We weren't having the same Murray issues. So yeah, that gives me hope. Going into another game, that maybe there's a possibility that we can make these adjustments. And I guess I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but like if we steal the next game, boy, does that put pressure on the Nuggets. Like, we suddenly go from, wow, we might get swept, to how embarrassing would it be for Denver to lose and have the Timberwolves come back and almost beat them in the series. Like that would be crazy. Obviously, I think I'm still a little bit more in the belief that the Timberwolves will probably not win against Denver in Denver, just because they seemed on in Denver. So I think it would be very difficult, but boy, oh boy, if they do, I'll be, you're gonna get a little bit more excitement from me than you are tonight. I think I'll be pretty jazzed if we beat them.
Utah Jazz. There's something in the water with Utah Jazz, man.
There's something. Leo.
What's up, Leo?
Clutch time plays need to be addressed ASAP. Yes. And also announcers calling him like an offensive genius still needs to stop.
Just stop.
Yeah.
There's nothing. We've only seen like one play, and that was game like 5 of the Memphis series.
There is no offense.
The bounce pass from McLaughlin to Ant in the corner.
Yeah, which was awesome.
That was the only play I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really the only play that was like a play. I don't know. It's just whatever.
I want to say a couple things. It's incredible to we'll talk a little bit about box score, and box score watch is kind of something plus minus. Sometimes it's a lie at times. Jokic was a negative player on the court, and to a lot of degree, we can question that stat, because it's like, well, he's popping off. He's like the difference maker out there for Denver. He's the MVP. Negative, who cares? He's insane. He had 3 assists going into the fourth quarter.
Uh-huh.
He was the only one going off. Michael Porter Jr., the X factor of the series, was where was he? Nowhere to be found, right? Aaron Gordon got into foul trouble. Aaron Gordon fouls out in this game. Aaron Gordon had one reverse dunk.
This whole
he's had a kind of a weird assignment, right? He's guarding Cat and Ant, so he's going to, right? And Cat will draw fouls, dude. That was another reason why we probably got really we got a good supporting cast this game, because Cat was kind of doing his thing tonight. We'll have a potentially very positive grade for him, but he got to the line a lot. He drew a lot of fouls, and he really hurt the defense. Like whatever Denver was trying to do, Cat was kind of aggressive in that stance. Like one of my favorite plays was him like ATO. It was like Ant or I think it was Conley found Cat driving to the rim. The only cut he's done all series.
Yeah, all
Cat, we
season.
fed it to him. Yeah, probably because he's barely played. We
Yeah,
fed it to him. He doesn't take a dribble, meaning he's not like thinking. He just dunks it, or he like lays it in, right?
Yep.
Right? Like that was sweet. That's like him playing in the flow, him getting a touch, and early in the game too. Like it was like have Cat do a couple quick passes, right? Get everyone involved, get him feeling the ball, but not having him think. When he's sitting there driving, or when he's sitting there dribbling the ball, like wasting time or posting up near the 3-point line, nothing happens. When he's sitting there double screening, nothing happens. It's just wasting time on offense. I think there's a recipe in what we saw tonight to take the series back to Minnesota, like win on whatever game day we play. I think it's like Tuesday or Wednesday.
You keep talking, I'll look.
Tuesday or Wednesday, and then bring it back to Minnesota, like for Game 6. And dude, Target Center will be loud.
It will be for a Game 6. They will be very loud.
Yeah, and I don't know, like because we might be having like the Wild also be playing, like the actual Minnesota Wild be playing at the same time. But yeah, I think there's something there, and a lot of it has to do with like how Cat was used tonight, and how it gave kind of Ant a small break in moments, and how we actually allowed Jokic to pop off, but not the others, right? How we were playing Murray, and they're going to respond. They're going to go back to the drawing board to see how they can get Murray involved. But like, I think there's a response here, and Cat not shooting threes. Cat should shoot some threes. I think there could be a good recipe to take this back to Minnesota.
It really is crazy because if Towns could start making some threes, and Ant can keep playing pretty much the way he's been playing, then I think you get a chance in any game, against this team. I think even though they have all the quality scorers that they do, I just think I don't know. I just think if you can get Cat to be offensively productive and not foul out at least until late in the game, then you have a recipe, like you said, for coming back home. But you are right. It's Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Still kind of a late game, 8 p.m. Central. But man, exciting game, crazy game. But Wolves back, baby. You want to do the tier list?
Back. And I don't care, trade Cat.
I like it, Carson.
I love it. I want more. Okay, yeah. I only died 50 times during the game tonight. Same here. I tried not to like show emotion, but like that Conley Bank 3, that overtime 3 that got me up, that got me screaming. There was a point where Conley had a floater that got me moving. It was good. After a really dry, dull first half. Let's talk a couple stats here as we transition to the tier list. Look at that star wipe. We're going to have a star wipe.
We are going to have a star wipe. Sorry, I was
What's up, Sabrina Hiller? Hiller? Probably Hiller.
Welcome, Sabrina.
4 points for Cat in the second half in overtime. 0 points for Nickeil Alexander-Walker in the second half, right? So stay tuned for the overtime stats. 0 points from the others of Torian Prince, J-Mac, who got minutes tonight. What was that all about? Jalen Noel, who just got a bunch of rebounds in the first quarter. Like that was nonsense, right? But curiously, the only one to do anything, only one at all on Denver to score out of 44 points was Jokic. It was Jokic and Michael Porter Jr. and just at the end of the game. Yeah. Isn't that kind of nutty? Like, I'm looking at this box score just the second half. And that's like 34 points out of their 44 points.
It's crazy. I know. Yeah. And that's why it's kind of an interesting thought to have it be like, maybe it should just be like, you don't want to let him go crazy. I mean, he did go crazy tonight and we still won. But like, maybe you want to have all the offense go through him, have to take these shots. Like, I know he played well tonight. I know he's a great player, obviously back-to-back MVP, but like, I do think that tonight might have been a little bit more on the high side of what you can expect for production if you let him be the offense. So this, if you do this again, where he's kind of the primary offense, not dishing it out to everyone, having the defense be so crazed, maybe play off of him just a little bit and let him kind of take these shots, and just kind of make him make these tough shots again, or make him make shots again. They're never even tough, but like I just don't believe in it. That's not saying much considering I thought this was a good series for us, but still, I feel like that's kind of an interesting thing to approach in the next game. And also, you have nothing to lose. I mean, you were down 3-0. Like, if you can make a comeback, like, just do whatever you want. Just play with like passion, and whatever happens, happens.
Game one, like you could think he was probably just like an absolute beast.
Mm-hmm.
He went for 13 and 14 and like 7,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Game two, dominated. Oh, it's 27, 9, and 9. Game
Mm-hmm.
three, this is Jokic. Pops off for 20, 11, and 12. Okay. What was missing tonight? The assists. The
Yeah.
others. Like that's the thread of tonight's game. That's how we barely won this game in overtime with some heroics from Ant, right? Honestly, and Nah. Like the overtime was crazy. Like the players that weren't scoring all game like popped off, right? Like not Ant, but like Nah. And we barely won. So there is something here, but we should build off of all of whatever positive vibes here. That's crazy, right? He pops off for 43, 11, and 6 assists.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
I think it's a good thing to look into. I think it's a good thing to try to aim for. I'm not going to talk about it much more, but it's kind of similar. Like, we were very focused in the Memphis series on keeping Ja away from scoring, which frustrated him. But the rest of the team was still able to score. Obviously, they had so many. Like Dylan Brooks was able to score, Desmond Bain, Tyus Jones, like all these players. But like, if you just let Ja score and the others you're defending well, sure, Ja's going to go crazy, but can he win you the game? I don't know. It's the same premise, but anyways.
To the tier list, and as we have already transitioned to the tier list, you're going to say something? Yeah. Sorry.
I was just going to mention again that this is Jaden is on there on purpose still, because just imagine how much easier this game would have been with a Jaden out there. Imagine the series, how much better it would have been with a Jaden. I think we'd be having fun every game if we had Jaden for this series. I don't know if we win the series, but it certainly would be much closer than it appears it's going to be. So Jaden, we're still mad at you. We're really not going to forgive you until at least next season. So, or the finals when you come back, right?
Dude, Wolves need 16 more or 15 more wins to make it happen.
I hate my toxic trait is that whenever we do well again, I'm like, oh, I wonder if Jaden can come back this season and we can just.
Oh no. Play like Rondo on one hand.
Yeah, well, no, I mean just like maybe if we stay in the playoffs long enough, then he'll have enough time to heal and come back. That's not happening though. So
maybe it was just a curtain and not concrete, but he's so skinny and his bones are so fragile that he actually fractured it from a curtain.
Oh gosh.
Anyways, yeah, so crazy. Here's a couple stats. We tied them in points in the paint. They've been dominating us, which is crazy because we're the bigger team, right?
Yeah.
Second chance points every time. Every game is 1 through what is it now? Game 1 through 3.
Yeah,
they've been up, potentially even double digits on us. Fast break points also have been clearly won because every missed shot we turn it over, we cough it up 30 times a game. It's usually always been Denver. It's been us tonight. It was us tonight. It was pretty sweet. Say 12-point lead, biggest lead in the series so far, the Timberwolves. And finally, we hold them to 44% shooting. They have been kind of catching fire all series, hitting the weirdest and craziest of shots.
Yes.
Especially Murray. And his back screens were not effective today. His drive to get open, he was gassed because Nah completely took over, like how aggressive he was defensively. And there was a charge Nah took. There, it's insane, like the others coming to play tonight. And also noticeably was, as we talk about the tier list, no Glenn Taylor. recipe.
Yeah, no Glenn. He was scared of the protesters, maybe. But yeah, if we stay in the playoffs to the Western Conference, Nas could come back. Hey, that is something to
some
look forward to,
optimism.
Sabrina. I like it.
Hey man, for real, I miss the shit out of Nas. His energy,
I
his
know.
ability to drive and transition is like, man,
It's just so
sorely
huge because,
missed.
like, I think everybody knows this, but like nobody really talks about it. Like NBA fans care about threes and dunks,
Totally.
like realistically, that's what the crowd is going to get excited for. So like when people are like target center is really quiet, that's because there's just a lot of like layups happening and like free throws. It's like whatever. But like we need like Nas's presence in the back or in the like the what am I trying to say? The bench. He would come in almost every game and have a dunk, and that just gets the crowd a little bit into it. Or on the flip side, takes the crowd out of it when you're in like Denver or something like that.
Totally.
So you have that ability, and like since he's on the bench, he has lesser defenders up against him. He can really do like some fun Nas dribbling moves. So yeah, that's like, man, that's just really cool. But and then also Sabrina, we'd be easily 2-2 with Jaden. I 100% agree. Offseason necessities
He knows her
extend.
shit.
Jaden,
Welcome to the show. This is really nice
yes,
to have you, and I'm hoping to see more from you as well.
definitely.
Join us for our off-season content.
Yeah, all of our offseason content.
Because as Dane Moore said, we're just one game from 3-2-1 Call of Duty, which is the strangest motherfucking tweet I've ever seen. Okay, other than like Johnny Athletic saying, "Seriously, Wolves fans, no crying from you tonight," or something.
Yeah, which we apologize for, by the way. Did you see that?
I unfollowed him after that.
He seriously, he put out an apology tweet about it. Anyways,
I'm scared.
we should get into the tier list. We're talking too much.
Yeah.
We had some interesting players play tonight. We had Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves.
Really
interesting players.
Very interesting. I thought it was an excellent switch up.
Yeah, I never doubted him for a second.
Never doubted him for a second. But he puts in Baby Mac for 3.5 minutes, and he takes our game in those 3.5 minutes. The only thing that he didn't do in those 3.5 minutes was take a shot. And I guess he did. But he didn't when he was contested by a tall, like 7-footer. So, props to J Mac for not doing the dumb things. But J Mac, you're an F. Look at that. Yeah, Austin Rivers in 10 minutes. He's team high ±8.
Wow.
5 points. He hit a 3. Just super fucking clutch.
It was.
After a offensive rebound by Gobert, which was also insane. Gives it back to Ant, drives it for an Austin Rivers 3. That looked like the makings of an air ball. Straight up.
Mm-hmm.
That's an A performance from Austin Rivers because he is just cold, right? He's been cold, and he didn't do any shimmies tonight.
He didn't do any shimmies.
That's an A-like performance, honestly. And then he had a transition layup. Oh,
yeah.
That's all I need from the dude who is potentially like the Pat Bev replacement.
Exactly.
That's all I need.
Which, by the way, Pat Bev is desperate to come back to us. Anyways,
maybe he should, because maybe we need a new coach, and maybe he's thinking his future is in Minnesota. Anyways, and Nick Nurse was laid off or kicked off. Raptors. That was kind of an interesting time for that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, apparently he's cash money from the corner. Well, that's news to me because I haven't seen him shoot from the 3 ever. So I've always seen him just do
he does that. He does. Yeah, I think of him as a 3-point shooter, but I also think of him as somebody that clanks every 3-point shot. So
yeah, he's a clanker.
Yeah, he's a clanker, but tonight he paid off. He's an A.
He's an A, and that's also because we won the game. If we lost this game, that probably would have been a D. I don't know. Jalen Noel. I love this from Finch. Just trying something. Jalen Noel has been an absolute travesty all series. Has done literally nothing except for bounce shots off the glass. He's barely hit rim all series. 0 for 4, but he has had 3 clutch rebounds all to himself.
That is true, yeah.
In one possession. And he denied Cat from getting a rebound. That was so funny. When Cat had it going, too, that was so fun. Okay. All these like Jalen, Jordan McLaughlin, and Jaden McDaniels, all Glenn Taylor / dumpster tier. For tonight,
I'm down.
Torian Prince hit his first three of the game, and was an absolute inverse of stud. What's the opposite of stud?
A
Dust. Potato
or duds.
A dud. I like that, dude. Cameron, you got a clone. We got a doppelganger. Cameron shows up. What's up, Cameron? Join late, but thinking about what this team could do with J Mac. I hope that's Big Mac.
Yeah, it's Big
Mac. D Mac / seatbelt / what was that? Slim
Reaper.
Slim Reaper. Oh no, they said the Space Needle. They were talking about Space Needle or something.
Oh, right? Weird. I don't know. Yeah,
and Nas. Yeah, totally, dude.
We miss them dearly.
Oh,
Big Mac.
Well, I'm distracted by this awesome chat. I'm sorry, dude. I was a season ticket holder this year and hit corner threes a ton. Pat Bev and Austin Rivers on our vet Congress. Yeah, totally. That's awesome. Cool.
Mm-hmm. They can have a podcast together.
Oh, that's right.
Perfect. They can combine. It's a merger.
They could join us.
Yes, they could join us. Yeah, that would be the.
Or
the weirdest.
Best of all worlds.
Oh man.
Okay, but he was an absolute dud.
He was
6 points though, because he went to the line a couple times, 3 rebounds, a turnover. He was 1 for 8 from the floor. Dude, you already that was a one-show.
It was a one-show. I don't want to put him in Glenn Taylor because it's not the same level of hatred that I have for those other 3 right now. But like he's just not been good. And that is, you could maybe, the law of averages, like he's going to come back here one of these days and start hitting shots. And why doesn't it start on Tuesday night in Denver?
Yeah,
if that happens, that's huge. Do I believe it's going to happen? Who knows? Roll the dice. But it could happen. But tonight was just bad, and it's been bad for some while now. So
yeah, I think he's a restricted free agent after this year. So we'll see. It'd be interesting to see what we do with Torian Prince / TP.
Yes.
/ Night.
Speaking of Night.
Yeah. Speaking of Night.
Sorry, I was going to go to the next player. I was going to say, speaking of Night, Kyle Anderson left the game early.
Because he couldn't open his eyes because he was snoozing.
He was.
On the floor with blood out of his eyes.
Yeah. Was there actually blood?
Dude, I don't know. You saw the TNT footage? Or you were watching TNT? They showed it on Bally. They zoomed in on his face. There's fucking blood just going off his eye. They should not have shown that. It was really gross. Yeah, it was very gross.
I just saw him bring a towel out, and I was like, "Oh, he's actually bleeding." At first I thought he was just like selling contact to the head to try to get like a flagrant or something like that.
That's what I thought too.
But then, and even when he was like rolling around on the ground, I thought it was like fake. And then they put the towel on him. I was like, "Oh gosh, this is actually like real." But
yeah, for sure. Oh, dude, speaking of fake, Ant in that first possession of the game, like barely hits Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
Yeah,
he's just like,
oh my gosh. Actually, in real time,
on the floor. Yeah.
In real time, I thought that was like a pretty aggressively missed call from the refs. But then they showed the replay, and it was like, oh my gosh, there was like
no
almost
contact.
Yeah, it was not good.
Yeah.
But anyways, but Slow-Mo did not play well tonight before the eye and after the eye. But I don't know. I don't think he played well. How do you think he played?
Well, he's got to see an eye specialist. Maybe he has to because of post game or something. But like, yeah, that sucks. Honestly, dude, he was almost the player of the game for me. After a terrible first half, the third quarter run was sparked by him. Literally everything that he did in this game was the third quarter, and I thought it was a lot of details. A lot of things were like, tighter and more enforceive and more, based on the pecking order. He was like the play caller, right?
Yeah.
Like shot caller, and like he got everyone open. He drove people into position. He had that fast break, slow-mo fast break, layup. Like that all happened with him. And like 11 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists.
I guess, maybe
I'm steals, a block shot. This is all like literally in the third quarter. Like I'll pull in the third quarter stats to verify this, to prove you and all the doubters wrong about Slow-Mo. But it was an anti-Slow-Mo game until he popped off in the third quarter.
I think my brain's just selectively remembering the first half because I'm looking at his stats now and he's like 5 of 7. I mean, he's got like all of his slow mo stuff, and then I do remember the third, like you're talking about the third quarter. Like I do remember that, so I think I'm unfairly treating Kyle, and maybe remembering the last couple games that he had and how bad they were.
But we went on that run because of slow mo, and then when he pulled out because of his eye, he missed the rest of the game. Like we were disgustingly miserable for the rest of the game.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Like we barely scored in the fourth quarter, and like without him out there, like we had to go big, and the bigs weren't kind of working together, except for that one lob from Cat to Gobert. That was cool, but like they weren't working together at all. So I just have to say that. So I think this was like a B like performance for Slow-Mo, if not an A. But so I'll meet you wherever you want to ultimately put him.
I have no strong feelings. I mean, I believe everything you say, and I'm taking it for 100% truth. I was just smirking at Western Wolf's comment about Torian Prince. I didn't see it until just now. TB was disappointed in a way, like a parent is.
He's kind of like he's like a young, he's a young dad, like trying to make it, in this league. But yeah, I agree with that. Interesting take, but I appreciate it. Hey, well, that's the bench, and looking at this the scatter plot of a tier list, looks like we lost.
Yeah, so far it looks like a pretty bad game.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Some recipes for me to make this a series was Conley had to show up. Our guards that were not Ant had to show up. Some other X factor had to come into play, and Cat had to just bring it. Like the 27 points were like 0 points in game 3. I have to be straight up honest. But what he did find was a little bit of himself in that game. Yep. And I thought he was, before he fouled out, one of the better players tonight. Cat for sure.
But, you want to go to Cat first, or do you want to do Mike Conley?
I think I do want to do Cat first. I was going to start with Conley, but
I was going to say though, like this is a perfect example. Like there was a lot of people on Twitter the other day kind of standing up for Towns. Again, I don't understand why, but they're like, we're not even close in this game without Carl. But it's like, look at the differences between the last game and this game. Like this game, the production numbers wise is not there, but like there were winning plays that happened. There was that and one that was like a really big and
really
one.
Good.
That was like that cut that you talked about. He had a blocked shot at a point, I think. Was that him?
Yeah, it was him.
Even though like obviously Towns still had the foul trouble, he still had at one point early in the game, he still did his like totally pointless behind the back pass, which that's just a personal issue with me. But like in general, like this was way better of a game than the last game from Towns. So you can't just look at the numbers with Towns, because Towns can get 27 any night. He can force it and make it happen. But like this just worked tonight. And it still wasn't like my favorite Towns game, but I thought this was better than the last game.
This was the best game of the series for him, hands down. Yeah. This is the best game I've seen from him outside of like those kind of game-winning, shots that he took in Golden State and in Sacramento, right? Like this is maybe the best game since he's come back. He fouled out. That sucks. He had some rhythm going, but then, emotions got to him. He was doing the hand stuff. He was like really screaming at the refs. He was like, it was like a fully encompassed Cat as potential and Cat as common.
Yeah. Yep.
Like seriously, like you could see it. You can close your eyes and be like, "Whoa, Cat has destiny in his potential, like in his future. Like he's going to be goated, right?" But it doesn't actually happen, right? So, 17 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, a block shot, a steal. Awesome. 0 3-pointers. Only 9 shots, and he fouls out.
This is such a weird game. I'm struggling with how to rate him for the game.
This is probably the only example of tonight where the box score kind of lies, because he's a negative player. He was a team worst -7 out there. That's a lot of it had to do with who he was guarding. Jokic was popping off when he was guarding, and he was sagging off of Jokic, and that's where Jokic got those quick 6 points and stuff like that. Yeah, this is I want to see this version of Towns with 10 shots from 3. Like the 5 for 9 needs to be like 12 for 19. And those 10 extra shots need to be from 3. So I will probably disagree with you slightly, Gerald. this was maybe his D on Jokic was suspect.
Well,
But
because
I
he
thought he
does
got the
all the
read.
fancy stuff. Yeah.
And yeah, he fouls out. He does all the hand nonsense. I think he even had an offensive foul. Yeah, that he had that offensive screen. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Man,
Which
I
was
don't know.
more
I
Ant's
can't.
fault. That was more Ant's fault for that one.
Oh shoot. So it's the same every night. And this is the best of every night, right? Don't you think, like, Gerald, this is so weird to say out loud, but like he fouls up, but he played better than he has most of the series on D, in my opinion. I'm giving this because he's been a Wancho, if not like Glenn Taylor all series, for in my opinion. I think I'm expecting this from Cat. I want more, but this is like an expected game from Cat.
I agree. I was gonna say expected. I was scared you were gonna say something like A or B and something crazy.
No.
So I was getting like ready to rebut your claim. But no, I 100% agree. I think this is expected. It's expected, but like it's perfect what you said. It's expected, but we want more. Like, and we need more.
Yeah, so. I think he was doing a good job of not getting back screened tonight. I don't know if you were like, it's hard to pay attention to that nonsense when the ball, like, that's not like in the flow of the action. It's the secondary thing that's happening to get the other open. He didn't get, back screened very often. And I think, some of it had to do with like Gordon was in foul trouble, or, Porter Jr. isn't the cutter that Gordon or Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is. Pope didn't look like a player out there tonight, so. And Bruce Bound kind of popped off a little bit, but like, not enough because he was shooting threes more than he was like really driving to the rim. So, yeah. Cameron says something that's not you. It's crazy how many dumb fouls Cat picks up. Watching the replay of some of them is just dumbfounding. That should actually be part of Cat's highlight reel. It never is because you only see what's good, right? But that's like every game. He'll pop off for 20, but he'll have the dumbest nonsense. So I am kind of done talking about that right now. But we talk about this. We've talked about this all season, and it's crazy how expected it is now. Year 8, $50 million in play, and he is not the sum of that contract right now. Like he needs to be. Yeah. He hasn't done anything in the NBA to kind of necessarily deserve that. Really, he's won a 3-point contest and a skills competition, and he was exposed in the playoffs in the Houston series, and fouls out in literally every game, and including the play-in of the Memphis series, right? Like so. Like, what has he actually done? He scored 60 versus the Spurs, right? He's had a couple game winners. Got to see more at this point in the prime of his career. He's like, this is going to be what he becomes, like what he's going to be remembered for. He was at one point the player to build around. He is now, where is he? Like, not even in the stratosphere of like, he's in the Kristaps Porzingis tier.
Yeah, it's like it's a unicorn world, but it's not the unicorn that we used to talk about 5 or 6 years ago about how these bigs could be like the future of the league. It's like this weird middle ground.
Dude,
but
totally. I love this comment from Sabrina. I love this comment from Sabrina. Man, I love this conversation from you. Like, he was doing something else. He was watching some replay of some other game of some like guard. And he's like, I could put that in my bag. And like he starts doing the kick out nonsense, right?
Yes.
He didn't do that today. That's great.
Did you hear the TNT post game interview with Ant?
No.
So
what happened?
Ant said that he went over to Cat's house and had a conversation with him last night about the game and stuff like that. So Ant went over to Cat's house and they talked and probably played Call of Duty. But but he said that on TNT that he went over there and talked to Cat about it and like game plan. And I'm like, whoa.
Even more reason to just love him forever. Even if he doesn't end up winning here and he wins 10 championships in Lakers, that's gonna happen probably.
Yes, and now
I love him forever.
Now Sabrina's got
dude, not. Yeah, once again, just like look at that. D'Lo non-factor in the Lakers series against whatever they're playing.
Seriously.
Memphis, I think. Man. All right, cool. So, anyways, a C for Cat. Moving on. Mike Conley, 42 and a half minutes. One of the biggest keys to the game for me was Conley had to just get going. Do something. Be relevant. Be a factor on both ends. He has a tough assignment. He's the oldest player on the court, and he has to guard, Murray on rotations, Porter Jr., who's double his size and half his age. Like and he can leap literally over him, right? 19 points, 7 for 13 when he had a miserable start, 1 for like 6 to start the game.
Yep.
3 for 7 from 3, and those were all in the second half, especially in the third quarter. Made a couple free throws, 8 assists. Season it feels like a season high in assists. 1 turnover. This is the Conley that I was expecting, and I'm so thrilled. I'm so thrilled.
This is like Tyus Jones. This is kind of a Tyus Jones game.
Yeah, and you hate Tyus Jones.
I do hate Tyus Jones. Sorry, Tyus. I know everybody loves Tyus, and there's really no reason for me to hate him, but I do.
Tyler Jones.
Honestly, the minute he started doing that dance with the Memphis Grizzlies in the hallway, he lost all respect for me.
Oh.
The one where they're like doing this, but can't do it. Anyways,
I mean, he wears number 21 just to be like, I love KG. So I don't know. He's a winner. Anyways, Mike Conley gets an A from me. That was awesome. We win. He was a huge deal. If that bank shot doesn't go in, we would be here with tears. Actually, not even tears.
We wouldn't be tears. Tears are happiness. No, it would be the end of the season if he doesn't make that three. Like it would not be happening. So
yeah,
definitely
he had a couple floaters that made the defense guessing. He had that lob to Gobert. When Gobert dunks, it's emphatic. It gets the crowd roaring. You want to see more of that because we're so fucking tall.
Here's what I'm saying. The crowd loves dunks. Do lobs. The crowd will go crazy. It doesn't even matter how you could come back from anything. As long as you're lobbing and hitting threes, anything can happen.
Conley just makes it so simple, man. That's the main point of emphasis here. He makes it so simple. If it's not him, if it's not slow-mo with the ball in his hands, the offense is stagnated. The offense is slow. The offense makes no sense. Sometimes we need the ISO Ant, and it's great when ISO has the ball, when Ant has the ball in his hands. But sometimes it doesn't lead to anything, right? It leads to him thinking too much, taking a weird three-pointer, right? Yeah. Anyways, we're driving into contact, driving into contention where the hands are swiping at his ball and at the ball, and he doesn't have the best handles right now. But he's growing, he's learning. But this is Conley's time right now, and I think Conley had a hell of a game, best game of the series. It's probably going to be very common for tonight from the rest of the starters here. But I want to see this in Game 5 because we could take this back to Minnesota. This is the type of Conley we get.
Definitely could, and God, I want to. Before we get to these last three players, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. We do this after every game. We're going to do this after the fifth game, regardless of the outcome, and the sixth game, regardless of the outcome. But thanks for helping us tonight, Go Suns. Interesting. But as a friendly reminder for the tier list, as we get to these next three players, A1 is an unforgettably good performance. Wancho is terrible, terrible. Glenn Taylor is always terrible, and obviously expected is expected. And this is just for tonight, and this is just based on what we expect from that player. So it doesn't mean that we think that we don't think that Austin Rivers was a better player than Cat necessarily tonight. Like, this is just based off of what we expected off of Austin Rivers.
Yeah,
Did I say Rivers again? I said Rivers, right? Okay.
I wasn't really listening. I'm still kind of digesting the Go Suns comment. I think it's because he's a Sun fan. He subscribed to wait 10 minutes to post that, and then he was like, "LOL, JK." But he's a Suns fan, and I think he wanted He didn't want Denver to just go, win and four and have all that rest.
That's what true. It is. Well, don't worry. They're not getting any more rest.
Don't worry. We're going 7. Wolves in 7. You're going to face us next series. Don't worry about that. You still got to close it out, though, my friend.
Yes. But on to the next. And is it Nah time?
I think it's Nah time. And before we talk about Nah, Cameron says, not necessarily an observation tonight, but rather than the rest of the year, but didn't really realize that Mike had an absolute strap from 3 when he joined. I had no idea either, man. I thought he was just a mid-range floater dude. And a lob guy. This is Conley, by the way. But okay, cool. Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Gerald spoils my commentary. 38 minutes, 3 for 7 from the floor, which doesn't sound like anything. 2 for 5 from 3, which is like, that's a standard game. Both in overtime. Both completely gut-wrenching from Denver's point of view. 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 foul. What the fuck is that?
Only 1, wow.
1 steal, a couple turnovers, and you can only blame youth for that, honestly, because he's not really used to handling the ball at the moment. 8 points. That's a nothing stat line. A1. One foul against Jamal Murray. One foul against the Denver Nuggets, who are really trying to exaggerate contact, really trying to get you on the back of your heels, where you're not thinking, you're just kind of reacting, and you're not like, you're not like playing aggressively. He is all up in that ass.
Whoa.
That booty of Jamal Murray. That was trying to rhyme, and it doesn't. I was trying to rhyme.
Jamal Murray.
I love this. This has been like a throw-in in that trade, and he's been He's been an absolute monster for us.
He's really just been perfect. He's not Jaden, but like he does make up for a lot of what Jaden did bring us. And Ant said it again. I keep quoting it, but Ant in the post-game interview was like, "Nah just fits our team so well right now. It just works." Even when he's coming off the bench or starting, it doesn't really matter. Like he just has that ability to fit in with our starters. And again, as Ant said in the interview, he's like, if he's going to be playing defense that well, we need him scoring. And he scored well to end the game today.
There was a couple of like, oh my god, no. Why are you passing?
Yeah.
And not on the corner, Cat. And like everyone. Yeah. And it works in our favor tonight, and so like Herculean effort. We don't win this game. Like, series without Nickeil Alexander-Walker. So Oh, our Discord link is broken, FYI.
Interesting. I can maybe fix that right now.
Oh, and I didn't know that Discord had a shortened form of cord. It didn't open your cord. Oh, man.
Well, that's because you're a boomer.
I'm a boomer. I am a boomer. Fuck. Well,
never.
Check these stat lines. I'm going to just read the stat lines, and then you're going to have to name the player. Well, it'll be pretty obvious here in a second, but
all right.
The new game we're playing. Because there's like, 2 players left? 7 for 14 from the floor, 15 rebounds. Who could that be? 1 assist, 4 fouls, 2 block shots, only 1 turnover. And by the way, 5 of those rebounds were offensive for 14 points. And that's a weird stat line that I read. Dude, honestly, Rudy Gobert, offseason signing that like really wrecked the entire NBA in terms of what the hell value even meant.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Has been a kind of like priceless piece for us this series. While we are struggling to find an identity on offensive flow, a second option, I got to be honest, like who the hell is our second option right now? Rudy has like been pretty fucking solid. Rudy has been a good like second option on offense. If it's not Ant driving the rim, my favorite play is a lob to Gobert. My favorite play is getting an action for Gobert to dunk it, not dribble. No dribble.
Which he tries to do.
That's his 1 turnover is when he literally tries to tries to dribble. So Gobert has been outstanding. This is an A performance, if not a like B+ performance from Gobert. But the main factor is he didn't get into foul trouble the way the Cat does. He doesn't get into foul trouble the way the Cat would push with his hands. Gobert uses his elbow, uses this part of his arm, doesn't use any part of this. It's incredible. And sometimes his arms do the thing, and hit, go where they go. But like he's so composed, he never jumps. Jokic has all those flailing pump fakes. It's incredible. It's just actually kind of a classic just record this game and show it to literally every big man in the NBA. Like every big man, every future big man in the NBA. This is how you're supposed to play.
Mm-hmm.
Don't flail around. Don't flop. Don't shoot nonsense threes. Play the big man role. You're going to open up the game for everyone else.
We didn't get any fadeaways from him tonight, though. That's kind of sad.
Dude, I guess you're right. So
that was super.
All the franchise.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, what do we say for a grade for
Rudy? He was part of the post-game interview crew, and he was just like, "Oh, we're happy to get one, and prove ourselves correct." And honestly, man, I don't care whatever grade you give him is fine. Probably very correct. I said a lot of things, so
I say an A. Honestly, I felt pretty good from him tonight. He had blocked shots. He played, like you said, he didn't have the bunnies where I mean, like a little bit, but nothing to the point of like egregious fouls like Cat, and it's Cat plays defense like oh, that's a good one. But
That's
uh,
really good.
that is really good. But no, and
So
then like
accurate.
he was offensive, like he had the lobs, he was getting putbacks after misses, which I just think is so crucial for like shooters mindset and mentality. Because like if they miss a shot, but Rudy Gobert's right there to put it back in, it just gives you confidence to take your next one. And Rudy was able to do that a little bit tonight. So I think it was a really good game from Rudy. And yeah, I agree with everything you said. So
Yeah, Godfrey, I love this comment from you, like in a vacuum. But we have been without success since 2004, and 2004 was MVP year. Get to the conference finals, lose to the Lakers because of a ball, like a big ball celebration from Sam Cassell, and we had like Derek Martin starting for us at point guard, and like no help from the others in a series where Lakers had Shaq, Kobe, Karl Malone, Gary Payton, right? Or Steve Nash, I think. No, it was Gary Payton, and they had like Kareem Rush, who just completely destroyed us. Robert Orr, all those players. We had no one, and then that was our level of success for the entire franchise for 35 plus years. And then we've just drafted nothing but role players, right? We've drafted caged lions in Derek Williams to flawed players like Rubio, who has been like my all-time favorite player, who was completely flawed as a player, who doesn't get minutes on a Cavs playoff team, right? Who desperately needs someone like that, right? We've drafted a third option and given him max money 3 times, right?
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't
So,
like that.
so honestly, and I love that guy, Gerald, the midriff, man. It's Kitovic. Okay. So I like this comment in a vacuum because why settle for a middle mediocrity when you could be like, they're like completely gut your team and get the best young talents that will spend 7 years in here, get money, and then bolt.
Mhm.
That's happened our entire existence. So. Okay, cool.
Gerald shared this in the Discord, by the way.
Yeah, that's just like A1. Garza, just throw him up in A1 right there. That's
That's not
Matt
Garza.
Ryan with big balls.
Yeah. Amazing.
Actually, dude. Oh, but the zoom in was even tighter, man. Look at that. That's Ant with the face, the mug, mean mug.
Yeah. And Rudy shocked.
And then also the zoom right, or move right.
Ooh,
More. Whoa. It's Luka Garza.
Oh, there is Luka. Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Picture's worth 1,000 words.
Were you, Cameron? You were thinking about Alexei Shred. Dude, seriously, that's what I'm talking about. We could get all these players with all these nonsense, like potential, abilities, but then they never transition into anything, I'd rather have Marcus Smart, who was, drafted when he was drafted, and like Grant Williams, who were drafted where he was drafted, and like, you know what I mean? Giannis, Jokic, you could find gems anywhere in the draft. It just so happens, right? Jalen Williams, like, who would have thought he would be potential rookie of the year, right? So, actually, who did they award the rookie of the year to?
I don't know if they have yet, but it's got to be Paolo.
Paolo, okay.
It has to be. I mean, there's like nobody else close.
Real men wear belly shirts.
True. We'll wear belly shirts if we make this series a game. Although I just realized I forgot that I tweeted that if we make the comeback from 03, I'm going to get a tattoo that said, "This is what movies is made of." On Twitter.
Yeah, dude. Oh, well, we'll end the tier list as we typically almost always do with the player of the game. 45 minutes, 12 for 27 for the floor. Sounds like sounds like chucking to me. However, 5 for 12 from 3, 5 for 6 from the free throw line, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 3 fucking block shots.
Dude, this guy is crazy.
For 34 points, back to back 30 plus games. Himthony himself.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why we even started this podcast.
Yeah, really. I mean, it is.
A1 from day one. Barbecue chicken alert. This guy is our franchise.
He is.
And we need to do nothing but cradle him. Like, we need to baby him. We need to give him everything he needs for success. And that means finding the players to create success. And maybe you took a screenshot there. I don't know what that was, but
I did. Of Gerald's comment.
Oh,
saving that.
I'm just saying, like, we're gonna have trying times ahead. We're gonna have large questions that have not been addressed or answered at all with this team this year. When we traded for Gobert, question marks, red flags. What the fuck is this? What the hell is this team? We got the player. Now what?
Yep.
I haven't answered any of those questions, but we have found hidden gems. The Nas year this year, the development of Jaden's game, right? So we could find more from what was missing in the season. We haven't figured out what we could do with the big dudes, but we know for a fact that Ant is it.
Yeah, he just is. A1. I agree. He just willed this team to victory. He nearly did a couple games ago. He's just a future. He is the one, and he's the one that I want to back Ant, and I want to. He's just the one that we need to be following, leading this franchise. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But you did the right thing. It's just like, sometimes you make the right play, but you don't make the bucket. But it's like it just doesn't matter with Ant. He is the right play. He is the right option. That's what you do. So.
We've drafted Corey Brewer instead of Joakim Noah. We've drafted Johnny Flynn instead of Stephen Curry. We've drafted miserably Wesley Johnson instead of like DeMarcus Cousins. I'm just saying, like, we've been so bad.
Mm-hmm.
We were gifted the one pick, and we were thinking, what if we drafted LaMelo Ball or James Wiseman?
Seriously, yeah. Mm-hmm.
What the hell would this franchise look like? We picked a player who had issues and no one knew about, went to Georgia, not Kentucky, not the A1 schools. He didn't. I bet you a bunch of people were just like pissing all over his fucking football comments.
Yeah, yep.
And like his diet and whatever nonsense. He's a young ass dude playing well above and beyond his years. Takes no bullshit, honestly. Is super coachable and has clutch DNA, has like MVP like genes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even just like me just saying this nonsense because I'm rose-colored Wolves fan here, but like
this is what people are saying. Yeah,
you could see like a LeBron like player. You could see like a Michael Jordan like player in him, and that's crazy. Like, hold the fucking, why am I saying that?
Like it's a possibility. I think a lot of the times the people that are like really into like the Jordan era basketball or like really heavy like LeBron fans or something like that, they're like, he's not LeBron, he's not MJ, whatever. But it's like it's that he has the legitimate chance to be that. Not almost no players have the chance to be one of those players. Even if they are the top form. Like, I mean, think like, and I don't mean to like shit on him, but like Jamal Murray, like nobody's going to think of Jamal Murray as like a Michael Jordan or that's not going to happen. Right. Look at Ant's stat line tonight, and more than his stat line, look at his will to win. Like, I mean, like who has this amount of points, rebounds, steals, blocks? I mean, he came into the season saying that he was going to try to average like 2 blocks and 2 steals a game, and
he's doing it.
He's doing it in the playoffs. Like, this is different. This is different, and I think it's okay to get excited about Anthony Edwards and not have to worry about the Wiggins effect or the Karl Anthony Towns effect, because he's doing this stuff in the playoffs right now. We're still worried about Karl Anthony Towns in the playoffs, and this isn't me saying negative things about Karl. This is me saying how positive it is around Ant, because Ant has already figured it out, and he's 21. So,
yeah, I think I like these comments, and I spoke a little bit like I was high on meds here, but like, yeah, Ant as the next LeBron, probably not Jared Godfrey, just straight up, but like, gotta ride this high, gotta believe in potential, and we're so let down on that common mantra of just wait till next year, maybe next year, maybe this guy will figure it out. Ant has his flaws, but he's like working through it, And I love this comment from Sabrina. He's grown from his mistakes, man. Like, so often you're hearing and you're seeing parts of a puzzle, not the whole thing. Just layers of the burrito, but not the full enchilada. Ba-dang. Right? I think he has all the tools necessary. He has the environment potentially to help him. And I like winning culture. We haven't really established that since Carnett, right? When we went 8 years consecutively with like 1 year where we actually did anything. But we were winning as a franchise. We weren't winning after the regular season. So build around him at all costs. And culture of winning cultivates a winning culture, which creates a winning mindset. Creates like off-season development that fixes our wrongs rather than work on your jump shot more. Like, now he needs so many more other things that he needs to work on more than just a jump shot. But like, he's seeing in front of him what he needs to work on: his dribbling, his playmaking ability, his a way to work with Gobert. And these are things that we didn't have to talk about. Like, we don't have to talk about defense. We don't have to talk about his clutch gene. We don't have to talk about his 3-point ability. We don't have to talk about his like ability and his athletic. Like, he's demonstrated all this, and he's also proved it without having to ever talk about it.
1,000%. I totally agree with the playoff take too. It's like, having him be in the playoffs, it just helps you elevate your game to the next level. And like Oreo says, the players that elevate in there.
I love that.
Yeah, like, and they are the superstars. Like, yes, and also like now it's different in a regular season, because in the regular season, sure, teams game plan for you, but it's for one game at a time. In the playoffs, they're game planning to shut you down for 4 to 7 games. So it's a different level of defense. It's a different level of schemes that you're facing. And it's just, if you're driven like Ant is, you figure it out. You figure out a different way to score. And it's huge to have. Even if we got swept this year, it's still more valuable to be in the playoffs, because like, what is another draft pick going to do, especially a mid-draft pick? Like, it's going to have to just be, we have players up and down the roster now. So it would just be adding like a 9th player to our like active roster, maybe. So it's like, I don't know. It's whatever. Cameron says it's very weird to say my name as somebody else. What makes me happy is thinking about how we have another 6 to 8 years until Ant and Seatbelt are in their primes, 100%. And Seatbelt, I'm just gonna refer to him as that now. Jaden, he really is still quite raw, both defensively and offensively. Raw. Yeah. So like, and you've already got players voting him as like the hardest player to like play against. And Jaden's also 22 or 21. I can't remember. He's also young. So it's like, you just have these young studs that are going to take this team places, and people are going to want to play with these players, go for these next 6 to 8 years.
Yeah, we do need to find a way to keep him that long. And this is a current conversation about just extending the season, extending this playoff series as long as we can. Every game is just nonstop growth. If we ended it in 4, we found some answers this season, but we haven't picked apart like what was working.
Yep.
Because we've never had a fully emboldened roster to like see what is possible, right? For more than like 10 games, 12 games this whole season. And Conley and Cat have no chemistry, like barely any chemistry on the court. Like, I wish there was something there, but it's Conley and Gobert, right? It's Ant and himself. And Jaden, when he gets the ball, like he has this like moment, right? Cat can find pieces. Cat and TP sometimes have good chemistry. We have to find chemistry that has been developing the way that Murray and Jokic have chemistry, right? The way that Popovich years of the Spurs developed something, right? And the way that the Warriors were nothing, had to figure it out, had to decide on the future, chose Curry instead of Monte Ellis. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that was instead of Monte Ellis.
And that was a huge like controversy in the Bay Area. People were livid. Like,
Curry couldn't play any defense.
They were booing. What is his name? I can't remember. On the court, he came out and they're like relentlessly booing him. And now what have they won?
Right.
Multiple championships. They have like 4 or 5 championships.
What
It's
was it?
crazy.
David Lee.
David Lee, yep.
David
He was
Lee replaced by Draymond Green.
yeah.
Right. You find these nuggets in the draft. You build from within. I love those kind of grown teams. And then, yeah, maybe we lose Cat. Maybe we lose Gobert. Maybe we lose Conley. But if we have these building blocks that we can actually find a future with, you do everything to keep them, man. You hold them tight, and you push with replacement player characters. Like you find a vet, like a Slow-Mo, like a TP, to supplement our all-stars, because we have spent 20 years trying to find the next player. It wasn't Wiggins. It wasn't Rashad McCants. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't, any of these players. It's Ant though, and how incredibly lucky are we to have this player right now? Well, here he is.
Here he is. Apparently, his post-game interview was kind of interesting, or not interesting.
To the wall, you guys did what you had to do tonight. What was it like out there battling, and how did you feel with what you did production-wise?
Man, I just want to give all the credit to Nikhil. He played very, very well tonight, and he was the MVP tonight.
I think Ant last night after the game, you're kind of telling your teammates, "Hey, after game 3, you're telling them, hey, this isn't over. They got to win 4." Like, how did you try to set a tone for these guys and just like keep them going?
I mean, that's just the truth. It's 3-0. I mean, you got to win one more game to send us home, and I was just telling the truth. I mean, they still got to win one more game to go home, and we got another chance to win another game and come back to Minnesota. So, I mean, I take pride in. I didn't want to say I got swept. I don't ever want to say I got swept in my career. So, I definitely took it personally tonight.
Coach was saying that he thinks you getting these opportunities to play in these big moments in playoff games is just so good for your career. What do you feel like in these moments, and does it feel different from a regular game?
Man, I'm just thankful. Like all the work I put in is just. Timberwolves did a great job this summer putting the right people around me. Also my trainer back home, Kier Jordan. I mean, we was C. Hines, we was working, man. So like it's just showing, and I'm thankful, man, and I'm gonna continue to work.
And you guys up by 1, you get the ball, you come down, you hold it, then you take the 3. What's going through your mind when you hit that clutch 3-pointer?
I mean, I wasn't passing the ball. I was taking a shot. I was gonna live with whether I lost us the game or, we won, and I end up hitting the shot. But man, like I said, man, it's all Nikhil, big shots in the overtime. Mike Conley, big shots. Rudy, like my teammates played great tonight, man. I know on the stat sheet it looked like I had a exceptional game, but they won the game for us.
More on Nikhil, just not only the job he does hitting the two shots in overtime, but just what has he done defensively for you guys?
Man, he's been everything for us, man. Like missing Jaden is definitely big, but I mean he stepped in and just been that defensive player that we needed. And I tell him all the time, man, shoot the ball, and I'm just happy for him, man. He getting his chance, and he's showcasing his abilities, like I said earlier, and it's definitely a good thing.
The arena seemed pretty dead in the middle of the third. You guys go down 9. Could you just sense that you kind of had to provide some kind of jolt?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we down 9. I know my team. I know they count on me to pick us up, and that's just what I do. I feel like in those moments, that's when I come alive the most, when we go down, and pretty much.
Their rally there at the end of the fourth. I just saw you give a Porter Jr. look like, geez, man. Like, what do you think?
Crazy, bro. He hit the shots that he hit in the fourth was like double clutch. He only hit 2 threes, and it was in the fourth, right? So that's wild. But I mean, I tip my hat to those guys, man. They played their ass off tonight.
And 2 big games in a row from you here. I know you haven't played a lot of games over the course of the year with both Kat and Rudy in the lineup. How are you, the 3 of you guys, kind of navigating this, all 3 of you playing at the same time and having success individually and collectively?
Man, Finchy does a great job of just putting us in the right positions to be successful. And, he's a great coach, and, he's offensive minded, and he's, like I said, he's great, man. So it's all Finchy. It's not us. It's Finchy. He tells us, we watch his film. He definitely sits down and watch film with me to show me like areas I can attack and be more aggressive with them 2 on the floor. So, I mean, all credit to him.
Can you, Coach was talking about how you guys are a little bit more proactive on defense. You were letting them walk into their offense tonight. Can you just talk about that kind of how you were able to kind of dictate things more on the defensive end than you have been earlier in the series?
Man, shout out to Cat, man. He he did something that we've been asking him for a minute, and he did it tonight. And I'm gonna call him when I get in the car and tell him we need it again, Game 5. And he pressured Jokic. I mean, I know Jokic had a great night, but I mean, he just pressured his vision and made it hard for him. And like I said, shout out to Cat, man. He did a great job defensively tonight.
And at the end of Game 3 in the locker room, couldn't help but notice you were sitting in your locker, kind of looking at yourself in the mirror, quiet. What were you telling yourself in that moment to kind of galvanize yourself for a game like this tonight?
I can't get swept. Yeah, I can't. It can't be a great story if I say I got swept. So, I was telling myself that I went to Cat house, I think, the next day and was talking to Cat. And like I said, man, he did a great job tonight, being in the high wall, just being a presence. And, he's one of the reasons we won the game.
Where do you see your elevation? Is it as a player or a leader?
I give all the credit to my teammates, man. They put me in all the positions to be successful. And, they're going to continue to do that. And I continue to step up in those moments.
And when you kind of look back at film of a night like this, how critical are you of yourself?
I played terrible, if you ask me. We was up 12. We was up 9. I checked in the game. I took a bad 3. We go up 12. I took like 3 bad 3s, 3 terrible possessions. And I damn near shot us out the game. So I didn't play that good tonight. To myself, I was just telling C. Hines that. So I would definitely be in the gym tomorrow working on my game some more.
How much do you learn maybe more in a playoff setting than maybe a regular season setting when a team is really digging into maybe your tendencies and things like that?
It brings the most out of me because most teams want to cut off my left hand, but it shows me that I actually can go right, and it gives me more confidence to go right. And like I showed tonight, I could go right and finish, and that's what they was giving me, and I was taking it. So, I mean, I love the playoffs. It's just my second time, but I love the feeling, man. I love the crowd. It's a blessing, man, to be here.
We know why you had the left sleeve on. Why'd you decide that it's so important to make sure you don't have the right sleeve?
What sleeve? It's my shooting side. I don't want to wear none over here, man. I want this to be super clean, and that's pretty much it.
What's obviously I think it's a little bit easier to take away a good lesson from a win, but what's the biggest lesson you guys can take away from those last 3 minutes of regulation?
Like I said, man, I put that on myself. Those last 3 minutes, like I said, I shot us out of the game. And next game, if we in that situation, we up 6 or 8 with 3 minutes, I'm definitely getting downhill to the rim or like getting to a mid-range shot. Like I'm not gonna settle. I settled for 3 bad, terrible threes. And it won't happen again.
And you had your 5th 30-point game in the postseason. That passes Kobe Bryant for second most for a player 21 or younger, behind only LeBron. What does it mean?
Shout out to Kobe, man.
What does it mean to you to be in the same era as those players, and what do you think has allowed you to reach this level of success so early in your playoff career?
It's just stats. Those guys has won championships, so you can't mention me with number-wise, you probably 30-point games, but I haven't did anything. I haven't made it out the first round, so it's great to be mentioned with those guys, but I still got work to do.
That's it.
Yep.
Fucking A, man.
I love him.
Yeah. Incredible. I would love to I'm gonna stay up. I might rewatch this game. I'm gonna watch all this content. It's awesome. I might even listen back to what we just said, because I don't know. It feels good to say things positively about this team and moving forward in the future. We are still in the thick of it in the playoff series. So, what are some keys for Game 5 in Mile High on short order turnaround time? Here?
Yeah, it is.
What can we do that you're going to see them respond? You're going to see them try to get others involved.
They are 100%. I think we need. I really want to see us. We haven't really seen this yet this series. I want to have the Wolves start really strong. I want to punch them in the mouth immediately. I understand that they're going to make a comeback at some point. They're the number 1 seed for a reason. They have very skilled players, shot makers. We don't have the same defenders that we've had. So I understand that it's still going to be a close game. But if we can punch them first. And by punch them first, I don't mean score the first 5 or 7 points. I mean like go up like 25-10 or something. Like a significant lead early, take their crowd out of it, have them second guessing their own shots, have them second guess their defense. And yeah, Corbin, welcome. Round ball, Randall. But yeah, I think we need to come out strong right out the gate. And I also think we just need, even if we can't come out strong out of the gate scoring wise, the energy just has to be there. Ant needs to be the leader. A little bit of everything we talked about tonight.
Yeah. What did we play with? We played with desperation in that third quarter. We played with hustle. We played with, we got the loose balls. We got a couple loose balls there. That was awesome. We started quick. We started 5-0, and they called a timeout and took us out of rhythm.
Yeah.
That cannot happen.
Exactly.
Any run by them, the 9-0, 12-0 run that they did to tie the game, should never affect us.
Yep.
Yeah, it probably will. But we should find a moment in the game where we build a 10, 12-point lead comfortably, and we keep it there for a couple minutes.
Yep, exactly.
Our lead was erased in a second.
It was gone immediately. Yep. And the other thing is that I think you just need to play with a mindset of you're down 3-1. No team has ever come down from 3-0, and only one team or something has come back from 3-1 or whatever. But it's you have nothing really to lose at this point. You've proven yourself to not be swept in the first round, so that's not like a super huge win. But things have been down for us.
Yeah.
If you lose, it's not like, oh man, you guys like some huge surprise or something like that. Like you're already kind of low, even though you won tonight. You're pretty low, so you really have nothing to lose. And I think that is a dangerous spot for the Nuggets to be in, because we can kind of do whatever the heck we feel like, and if it starts working, that can be really dangerous. And they seriously do not want to lose this game, even though they'll still have a 2-game advantage, or they'll still have the advantage because they'll have game. Even if we won Game 6 somehow, they'd still play at home in Game 7. But it's like, man, they can't lose this, because then all the momentum comes to Minnesota, and the series is wide open.
Oh yeah, for sure. We played with a bit of like a loose freedom, because if we lost, yeah, we're out. But like, they need to close out the series more so than we need to keep the series going, because they're the 1 seed. Yeah. They have championship aspirations. Like, that is not happening for us this year. But like, they can win 15 more games. We have a long road to win 1 more, right? Honestly. Okay. Sabrina said something maybe like 15, 20 minutes ago that was really cool. That's one of my keys to this game. What did Ant do instead of like go on the mic and show a lot of emotion and talk drama and talk nothings and say like, oh, I love my own stats, but we just didn't get it together. He just played the leader. He went to Cat's house and he, played up bigger than his role.
Yeah.
Calling times tonight. Like, the little things I think matter for this team more so than any other team in this fucking NBA. And we don't have others. We have each other. We have 8 players. I guess you go 9 or 10 if you really care about Baby Mac and Jalen Noel. But like, we have like 8 players, right? So like we have what we have. And like Nikhil Alexander was a throw in the trade. He's been playing bigger in his role. He was not even playing in Utah.
Yeah.
I love that like poise from Ant. Like he just speaks truths. He doesn't speak any fake nonsense and noise. Quotables that are real and authentic and not like for a highlight.
Yep.
And him talking about Nikhil Alexander-Walker was awesome. Nikhil Alexander-Walker is a key for me. He needs to come ready just like this. When we were talking up like Finch switching up Na for Prince in the starting lineup in Game 2, I think we were happy about it because we could have like this pecking order of no Baby Mac and yes, Na off the bench. But Na off the bench isn't guarding Murray. Na off the bench is guarding like Christian Brown or something. So Na starting is actually alleviating some pressure off of Ant. Ant can then instead guard Michael Porter Jr., even switch on Aaron Gordon, even switch on, it keeps us, I think, ready.
Yeah.
For whatever to come at us with. Another key to my game is to see Cat play like this at a minimum.
Yep.
at an absolute minimum, I need 10 3-point attempts from him. But this as a minimum. I don't actually care if he fouls out. It's common. It's going to probably happen.
Especially
in Denver.
In
Denver.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they're going to bring the noise. They're going to shut us out like the way that we kind of like, you know, I don't know. It's like it totally makes sense that he's going to foul out at some point next game.
Yep.
But he needs to get to 20 points. He needs to get to 10 rebounds. He needs to get to like 5 assists. But the way he does it has to happen in minutes that are efficient as well as in emphatic fashion. Whereas in game 3, he was just doing it because, you know, it just felt like empty numbers in game 3. In game 4, it felt like purposeful points, getting into the bonus, getting to the line, you know, drawing the double team, but being able to read it and pass out of it. Like, it felt way more like reasonable. He's going to have some issues, but Cat is at a minimum needing to be like a B for us, honestly.
Yeah. Yep.
And then in my final take, in my opinion, is the others cannot pop off.
Yeah, for Denver, you're saying?
I love that face. Yeah.
I'm about to sneeze. That's why I'm trying. You said for Denver, though?
Yeah, the others cannot pop off for Denver.
Yep. I agree. I'm fine with Jokic scoring a lot, you know, being the scorer for them, and then having, because like at some point, Murray, Porter Jr., even Aaron Gordon, KCP, they're all going to have their moments to take shots. But as long as they haven't been in a rhythm the entire game, then we might have a shot. Maybe only 1 or 2 of the 4 of them are able to score efficiently. You know, instead, the last 3 games, it's like literally every game they've been making shots consistently the whole game, like very evenly, to the point where they never get cold. So it's like, if we can just have Jokic be the main scorer and cause those other players to not get in a rhythm, it does give us an option. It gives us a path to victory.
Totally. Absolutely.
I like that. And yes, Gerald, I believe if your numbers were correct in Discord, I think I think so, because
he was only 10 points behind, apparently, according to your numbers. And well, he doubled up Cat's numbers tonight. So crazy to think about. Ant is already like second in playoff points of all time, right? Like
that's insane.
And he's probably not even far off from KG, because KG, he had his points and everything, but like the highest he ever scored was 37, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and that's like Ant's average right now.
Average, yeah.
Well, Tuesday night. I appreciate everybody that tuned in tonight. We had a long show tonight. You know, we have to enjoy the good times in the playoffs. We gained a few subscribers. We're only 1 away from 370. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please do. We would appreciate it. Trying to get to, I don't know,
500,
a higher number,
1,000
by 2030. But no, it was a fun night, fun to see a win. And who knows, maybe the next show, we're not talking about the end of the season. Maybe we're talking about game 6 at Target Center. I'm all for that. You know, even though I don't necessarily believe in this team's ability to go deep in the playoffs this year, unlike I did believe that last year.
I believe that last year.
Yeah. This year I really don't. But I do think that there's just this possibility that we could steal game 5 and just make it enough interesting to really get people to care. And if we can come back to a packed Target Center, because I do believe, I know there's been a lot of chatter. I've even talked about the seats being like, they had $10 seats that they couldn't sell, basically. Like, people will be at game 6 if there's a game 6. I think that would be a really fun time. So cool. I appreciate it, Cameron.
Yeah, I appreciate all of you guys.
Yeah, I appreciate all of you. Well, finals are still possible. Any final words from you, Ashwin?
No. Ryan said it best. Ant is the GOAT.
Ant is the GOAT. And maybe they will. Yeah, I appreciate Sabrina, Ryan, Cameron. Who were the other newbies that joined us? I can't remember.
Everyone, you know, Godfrey.
Of course, all the
everyone,
regulars.
Everyone.
Yeah, the regulars, everybody.
And even Ian, who doesn't show up live,
and
shows up post game.
Yeah, if everybody wants to come say hi to Ian in the comments after the show is posted, please do, because I'm sure Ian would appreciate it. But 52 wins. Anyways, as we always do here, well, first, join the Discord if you haven't already. Link, I updated it. It should work now. Link is in the bio and in the chat someplace. But join the Discord. Intro as the outro is the tradition here. We will see you Tuesday night. Peace.